They're us, that's all. There's no more room in hell.
What?
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
It's the zombie apocalypse, and a group of zombies are heading your way. You have to protect yourself. But what weapons are you going to use? Are you going to take the long distance approach and use a rifle? How about getting up close and personal with the sword? Or, if you're just trying to compensate for something, why not use a rocket launcher? Odds are that you have more than likely dreamt up of these scenarios yourself. Whether you were bored at work, school, or your sister's dance recital, you have put yourself into the shoes of a survivor living in a zombie apocalypse. But what is it that fascinates the living so much about the undead? Why are so many people content with the idea of the world ending, as long as zombies are around? So why zombies? There are thousands of different types of creatures in the horror movie genre to catch people's attention. Zombies are not alone. With the recent success with the Twilight series, vampires had their 15 seconds of fame but have slowly disappeared. People have moved on to something less fluffy and more dreadful. Some popular zombie movies include 28 Days Later, Dead Alive, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and even parodies such as Shaun of the Dead. Do you see a trend here? Dead things are cool, especially when you can kill them again.
Look, as long as they're out there and we're in here, we're safe.
Officials suggest that in extreme circumstances, the attackers can be stopped by removing the head or destroying the brain. I'll repeat that, by removing the head or destroying the brain.
Another strong example of such is The Walking Dead. Now a popular TV show on its third season on AMC, originally got its start off as a graphic novel, with now up to 103 issues and counting. Zombie expert Sean Kirkham, director of business development for Skybound, the publisher of the Walking Dead graphic novel, joins me on the subject.
Every type of horror, it's all very cyclical, and so everything comes in waves. And so, a couple years ago, everything was about, you had The Mummy years ago, and then everything was about vampires and sparkly vampires. I think right now we're at a point where people are just kind of tired of the cutesy stuff, and you want something that's a little more gruesome, and I think zombies kind of fall into that.
From the horde of zombie movies released, film isn't the only medium that zombies have taken by storm. TV, books, toys, digital art, graphic novels, to video games, zombies are everywhere.
Oh my god, they're everywhere.
With the outbreak of popularity in the zombie genre, people have jumped on the bandwagon. As the genre gets bigger, more and more zombie movies are made, but with so many, there are bound to be some bad apples of the bunch. From studying the success of most zombie movies with the failure of others, we can start our examination into what people find interesting about them. Good zombie movies hold the key to the human's interest on the subject.
You could do a zombie film where it's just about the zombies and it's just about the gore and people getting eaten, and that gets boring. You want to see the interactions of people, at their last wits, the end of the world, how they function, and, that way you can compare it to what you would do in your own mind. It's like, would you be able to survive and go to the lengths that these survivors have to go to?
There's a man going around taking names, and he decides who to free and who to blame. Everybody won't be treated all the same. There'll be a golden ladder reaching down when the man comes around.
People hope for some sort of collapse where they can get by on just their knowledge of survival and the use of their own two hands. They don't want to have the government telling them what to do. They don't want to have people down their throats about money. It'll just be people living how they want to live, doing what they want to do with no one telling them otherwise. hunting, fishing, building, gathering, farming, fighting, making clothing, pottery, weapons, tools, etc. That way of life seems so much more fulfilling than going to work, eat, sleep, go to work, eat, sleep, lather, rinse, repeat. Everyday life is essentially a routine with only one little variation in between. A zombie apocalypse would break that routine and will always have people on their feet doing something different every day. It also encourages creative thinking, problem solving, and just the general badassery of slaying zombies.
They're just mindless, and there's no reasoning, there's no motivation except for the fact that they just want to eat and eat brains or eat flesh or whatever, you know. And I think it's that base fear that there's nothing you can do besides, you know, kill them. There's no reasoning, there's no rationality. It's just you are dealing with a force of nature, and I think that's something that I think everyone can relate to, because there's so much stuff that goes on in you know, our modern society that you just have no control over. And so I think the zombies kind of fall into that as an analogy for those type of situations.
But what about the things of a zombie apocalypse that wouldn't be so awesome? Like losing your parents, your 401k, or your pet cat Whiskers. Well, now people can skip all the depressing side effects to a zombie apocalypse and live their own without having to wait for a scientist to release an infected monkey held to be jam-packed, or a chemical spill. They can just take part in a simulated zombie apocalypse without any of the repercussions, such as the potential of themselves and everyone they love being eaten alive.
The Walking Dead itself, we have a branded event called the Walking Dead Escape, which is a zombie apocalypse obstacle course. We had our first event at San Diego Comic-Con of this year, and we had 6,000 people come out, and people actually ran and experienced a zombie apocalypse, and they were being chased by zombies. It was amazing to see people who got done with that come out. They're just sweaty, they're covered in blood, they're just exhausted, and they continually ask them, how'd you like it? And they're like, that was the best thing I've ever done. I will want to do it again. That was so much fun. I can't wait to do it next year. It's amazing that people are willing to dive into an experience such as that and just live it. And they want to be a part of it so bad that, you know, given the opportunity, they get to do it.
Other popular events include ZombieCon, Zombie Walks, and Zed events, where those in the UK can actually pay to have basic training in case of a zombie outbreak. Environments range from the mall to a manor. Participants receive basic weapons training and then are put into a staged event that will put them to the test. People even form communities and make friends from their similar interests.
Today I'm actually wearing a Walking Dead shirt, and as we were walking around Los Angeles, you know, downtown, people were just like, oh, I love the show, or I love the comic book, and it's, you know, people love to share what they're into with other people.
Maybe people are just bored and use zombie apocalypse as an escape, and the thought satisfies an inner urge to be important, powerful, and heroic. People don't think of the negative effects of the zombie apocalypse. They never imagine their friends and family dying. That's not fun. They think of leading a group of people and saving that girl with who they've had a crush on. It's just like a fairy tale. A gory, modern-day fairy tale. This feature was produced by Dylan Wolf. Special thanks to Sean Kirkham.